Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today we got another Walking Dead TV show Q&A. John Henderson, as awesome as the episode was, do you think it could hurt overall story or make even better? I have no idea what you're trying to say there. As far as the story losing two characters or the death or the parents who are crying out that their kids watched it or whatever the hell. That's one more thing. I know we got families watching The Walking Dead, which if you allowed your kids to just blindly watch that and you didn't watch it ahead of them, or, I don't know, if you don't have your house on lockdown, I don't want to hear any complaints. That falls on you and you alone. You don't yell at AMC, don't yell at the people making the show, don't yell at the show or other fans for supporting it. If you failed as a parent in that moment, you failed as a parent in that moment. I know personally I don't have a problem with it because I knew what was coming, and I don't let my daughter watch it anyway. It's just a personal preference. I promised her when she gets a little older we will watch it together, but just not yet. Ido Levy. Ronnie Hayes, do you think Rick is really broken? I mean, he acts like that, sure, but is he? Well, that depends on what you mean. Broken? No. Rick's never going to break. You need a lot more than that, and that's one thing that Negan will underestimate Rick on is you need a lot more than that to break Rick. To the point where it's easier to just kill Rick than it is to break him. And Negan just doesn't know that yet. Everyone Negan's come in contact with, he's broken successfully. So Negan's going to get a wake-up call. Colum Higgins. What did Glenn mean with his final words? The way I saw it, I know producers talked about Last of the Mohicans or some shit like that, which I thought was weird, but the way I saw it, they got separated in the prison, and Glenn's whole mission was to find Maggie, Maggie left him signs, go to Terminus, yada, yada, yada. But long story short, he ended up finding her. Like, that was his one mission. I will find you. So in the way I looked at it in that moment, as he was dying, there's nothing else you can say other than get that out, especially having your head cracked in. There's no telling how hard it was or difficult it was for a person to speak in that situation. So the easiest thing you could say is, I'll find you, meaning whatever happens after this, we're soulmates. I will find you one way or the other. If it's the afterlife or heaven or whatever, I'll watch over you as an angel, yada, yada, yada. Something like that to comfort her. I know the producers did say that was something Glenn did. He was thinking about somebody else. In that moment, he was worried or scared or upset that Maggie was going to lose him and how that would hurt her, so he wanted to comfort her and yada, yada, yada. So he said, I will find you, which I love that. I think that is great. I know a lot of fans wanted him to just say her name, but I felt like that fits better with the comic version of Glenn, because the comic version of Glenn is different than the TV version. I feel like they made that a good choice, Amanda Summers. Ronnie, do you feel like we're ready for the F word? Yeah, a lot of us are ready for that. I don't know what you mean. You know what? You might be talking about the TV show. Yeah, that's with the parents and everything and religious people. Anyone complaining, that's why they don't do it. And there's censors too. It's a whole ordeal. If you are serious about getting the restrictions off of TV, go look that up, because that's a whole different ordeal. Faku Rajas Romero. Pulling out the theme of the filtration of spoilers, do you think it worked well for the cliffhanger? I have no idea what you just said. I recommend you see the whole entire series from the Whistle of the Saviors. How do you like the end of the season to honor the start of Temporado? A new cliffhanger. Greetings from Argent. Bro, I have no clue what you're trying to say. Pulling out the theme of the filtration of spoilers, you think it worked for cliffhanger? Bro, I have no clue what you're trying to say. No, it didn't work. They failed completely. The spoilers getting out is one of the biggest fails, in my opinion, in TV history. If you want to reword that, or I'm reading that wrong, I don't know what you're trying to say there. Casey Steinberg, how do you think Michonne will react to Rick now? I thought that was an interesting question, because Michonne and them get it. I know Rick was crying and had a snot bubble and stuff, but guys, they get it. Everyone on their knees was scared shitless. I'm sure Aaron was scared to death, but also so relieved he's not Rick in this situation. And probably so are the others. They probably feel bad. That's their leader. You know, when they get drugged through the dirt, their leader gets singled out every single time. That's something they don't go through as not the leader, you know what I mean? So I don't think Michonne will look at him and go, yikes, I'm dumping you. You know, you cried like a bitch or you had a snot bubble. So, you know, I'm going for King Ezekiel. I don't think she would do that. If you're trying to ask something similar to that, I just don't see it. They were there too, and I think they fully understand what Rick was going through. Paul Townsend. I don't know why. Yeah, that's an easy last name, it looks like. But from the comics, what are you looking forward to the most? The Whispers and New Beginning. I am so looking forward to that. And I'm going to the set. When they start filming The Whispers, The New Beginning, I'm going to the set. I'm sneaking into some auditions. I'm getting some extra or some background person for the fair. I tell you what, right here and now, if I have to sneak in or go undercover, I'll dig a fucking tunnel, okay? I'm getting in the fair, one way or the other, I promise you that. If I have to bring my own Lucille bat and bang on the gates of Alexandria, one way or the other, I'm getting in that fair. All right, Billy McLeish. Ronnie Hayes. Personally, I think the uncensored version of The Walking Dead has too much swearing, and it kind of ruins it for me. What do you think? I think you're a bitch. I think they did a brilliant job without the swearing. Yes, I agree with you. They did a brilliant job without the swearing. Even the premiere, fantastic job without the swearing. But as a comic book fan, there's a certain amount of joy I get from seeing comic accurate Negan portrayed on the screen with the swear words, you know? James Nardilio. Which comic roles do you think Daryl will be taking in the next couple seasons? Everyone's. Julian Falco Perano. I screwed up your entire name-o. Ronnie, you said Negan's selection of who he killed in the group was random, but I'm not sure he took Abe and Glenn. It appeared he took Abe because he was the biggest threat, perhaps, and then Glenn appeared to be the weakest to him after he got it for Maggie. Thoughts? You know what? This is tough to tell, and I would love to hear the producers' thoughts and opinions on this. The eeny, meeny, miny, mo is so horrific to me as a viewer, as a reader, as a fan, because it's random. It could be anybody. It steals some magic, in my opinion, knowing it's not random, knowing he did it on purpose. So, okay, if they came out and said, yeah, he knew Abraham's a big boy and he's muscle, and Rick and Negan systematically took his muscle out, and then somebody who he knew it would be a heartbreak for the crew, yada, 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 because he was obviously paying attention who is connected to who. I mean, that was clear. So, okay, a part of me will accept it if he takes Abraham out because he's muscle and Glenn out because he wanted to break the soul of the group, and he could simply see that by his outburst, or he simply was standing next to Glenn when he made the decision to kill somebody else. It could be that easy. I just would so much rather it be random. I mean, that's more heartbreaking than somebody who picked you because you looked tough, you know? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Frankie Tomil, do you think Abraham's death should have been shown in 6:16 and then Glenn's in 6:7? No, not at all. No, that's just something I don't agree with. I think if you're going to do the cliffhanger with the who did he kill lineup, do it. I still stand 100% on, even more now that I saw the premiere, I still stand by it. If they would have had a close-up on Rick, you know, for the end of 6:16, and then for 6:17 we have Rick's point of view, my fucking God, it fits so good. I'm still wondering why in the hell they did that point of view with the blood splattering down. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like it. Jacob Vicini, Ronnie, if you were in Rick's shoes, would you be able to cut off your daughter's arm if it meant saving the lives of everyone around? Well, here's the thing. They were going to all get killed, you know? That's a horrible thing to do. I mean, that shit is rough. If, right now, that would break me, but Carl being a little bit older, I mean, understanding a little bit more, that would make it a lot easier, you know, than a child now who would not understand that. I mean, that would be fucking hard. But that depends. They were all going to die. I mean, in that situation, I think maybe 10 years, 20 years from now, if I could provide a decent life for my daughter, maybe she'd understand, you know what I mean? And I don't know, but that's a fucked up question, you fucked up dude. Joshua Hit Lau. Did Carl's strength and guts to tell Rick it's okay to cut off his arm annoy you. I mean, as a kid, I thought he would be crying. Here's the thing. I get what you're saying, absolutely. But I feel like they missed an opportunity to have him getting ready to, oh my God, this is going to hurt, but just do it. I feel like they missed, and this is what I'm saying about Chandler Riggs as an actor. There's moments where you get it, but it's only one. Instead of being a layered performance, you get the one thing. Like, the one thing is he said, just do it. But a layered actor would have had the fidget, some subtleties, like you're gonna get it, you're gonna get that whack, like preparing yourself in your mind. You can see this is a person who's preparing in their mind to get their arm chopped off. Like, that's the subtleties in acting that I'm talking about, where you have layers, and you can read those layers with the way they fidget, some subtle responses with the way their eyes are, with what they say, how they say it, and that's very, very important, because it might not come out strictly as just do it, you know? That is just the one layer. And you guys probably don't want to keep hearing about that shit, but Chris Cass. Hey, Ronnie, do you think Walking Dead community will end up liking Negan way later in the series, say a few seasons from now? Yeah, I definitely think they'll end up liking him. A certain percentage will. I mean, at the end of the day, I got a Negan video coming up that holds a lot of my opinions, but at the end of the day, we love these characters, good life, good death, you know? That's how I see it. I think Glenn had a good life on the show and a good death on the show. It's a memorable death. It's an honorable death. It's an iconic death. Without that, we don't have an interesting show. So, yeah, I think they'll like him. Mitchell McGuinness. Would you rather have had Glenn deliver his... No, we already talked about that. Knocked it out of the park with no. I'm fine with what they did. James Mitchell. Since Daryl is being taken to the sanctuary, is that the confirmation we need that he'll be taking Comic Carl storyline? A shit ton of you asked this. Yeah, I do believe... But no, I don't, because I think it will be remixed in such a different way. The only thing that's left the same is them both going to the sanctuary, you know what I mean? Daniel Forrest Grouch. Do you think they did a good job at building the suspense back up during the new episode? For what they were faced with, yeah, I think they did. They might have delayed it a little too long, but I think they did a good job building that up again. Mimi, but here's one thing though, I stand by it afterwards, absolutely. It's nothing to what we could have gotten if it was all in one episode. The break killed a lot. I mean, there's no way you're regaining that momentum. The break really did damage, honestly. That cliffhanger, that break, looking back at it now, yeah, fuck yeah, that was a bad idea. Mimi, yay, yawn, yaw, yay. A lot of comic fans actually like Negan. Do you think the TV version was so cruel that TV-only fans won't like him? No, they'll like him. Lewis Bass, do you think it was necessary for Negan to break Rick to that extent? I mean, they were outnumbered and outgunned. It doesn't matter how outnumbered they are. He needs to break him so he knows when he walks away, Rick isn't going to gather the troops, you know? He's not going to rally and go to war. Negan isn't just going to be like, okay, we showed you what we could do, killed a couple of your guys. We're going to leave you alone now for a week. You know, you can do anything. Negan needs to know that he breaks him long enough for Negan to go and be gone for a whole week without him fucking around, you know what I mean? And trying to gather them up for another stupid war. In Negan's mind, I feel like Negan is not worried that Rick is going to gather his troops and attack Negan and defeat Negan. Negan's not worried about that at all. Negan's just trying to avoid the annoyance of having to shoot Rick and his group down. You know what I mean? Negan is, I think he's that confident where he's not worried about being overthrown. He just doesn't want to deal with that annoyance. And he doesn't want to have to kill half of Rick's group, because then he has half less people to do his work for him, to bring his supplies. So that's how I see Negan, a confident, son of a bitch. That's it for today. If you got any questions, put them down in the comment box for next Q&A. Do not forget to put Q&A first thing first in your comment. And slide by the MAP Fan Family Facebook group. We're all a family of fans, and we're here to discuss and discover new entertainment. So check us out. Subscribe now.